Hi, my name is Brenda Titus. Thank you for joining me for my video series, My Year Recovering from Retinal Detachment. This is the 33rd part C of my video series. I've been going step by step over the various stages of my retinal detachment and then cataract surgery and complications. And this C part is actually that through number 33, I've been doing a very specific journey through vision changes, and the goal really being about accepting the vision changes that have taken place. So if you haven't seen my prior videos, I definitely recommend that you take a look at them. Like I said, it goes through every single part of the journey honestly, it's been almost 2 years through this whole journey. And like I said, today I'll be talking about working on accepting the changes in my vision. So I really wanted to begin by talking about the idea of acceptance. And I decided to really think about it in this way of acceptance because acceptance is a very important step in the grief process. So if you've heard about, the stages of grief and, denial and bargaining and anger, all of those things, acceptance ultimately is the goal. And even though, we say actually, a lot of times people think about grief as being about death and dying, but the truth is that when somebody goes through a major loss, then they would go through a grief process. And honestly, going through these vision changes has been a pretty serious loss for me in my life. And now I did want to be sure that people understand, you could go through one retinal detachment and not go through quite as much as I've been through. You might even go through 2 retinal detachments like I've been through and not go through as much as I've been through. Honestly, having the 2 retinal detachments in each eye, plus ultimately having a more of a permanent challenge with this eye with the macular pucker, I just have extra challenges, which means extra opportunities to share this journey with you. So today actually is a neat day as I think about this because it is the 1 year anniversary since my cataract surgery, or well, actually since my first cataract surgery. So 1 year ago today, I went in, I was scared, but I could tell right away that my vision was clearer, and especially clearer than it had been, because with cataracts, your eyes are just very, very cloudy, very hard to see. And it was really true that immediately there was more light, there was more capacity to be able to, experience visual stimuli and all of that. So that was very, very wonderful. Now, many people ultimately recover from cataract surgery, and they are so excited. Some people actually have the benefit of no longer needing distance, glasses for distance. And technically, that is ultimately true for me, because with cataract surgery, they're able to implant a new lens within your eye, and so it changes your vision. It's not just about clearing the cloudiness. They also do sometimes some adjustment. Now, in some people might have more of an adjustment to just straight cataract surgery. I remember very early on, it might have even been the day after my cataract surgery, and I could hear an older couple in the room next door, and the husband was really having trouble adjusting to his vision changes after his cataract surgery. And she was saying, the glasses on and the glasses off. I think it was because he was struggling with having reading glasses. And so I kind of thought, okay, I heard what she was saying, and I understand a year later, because I think that I'm finally understanding the vision changes and how to adapt my life accordingly. And so that's what we're going to be talking about today. So in episode 33, parts A and B, I had shared kind of a lot of, my early years of wearing glasses, and then a lot through the various stages of what I had learned and how I was able to maximize my vision while I was going through all the various stages of recovery through the retinal detachments and the cataracts and the macular pucker. And I'd kind of gotten to this final point around saying that I'd gotten some bifocal glasses. And bifocal means that that you have, well, two is bi. So two very clear delineations of distance vision in your glasses. And so there's kind of like the reader, so that you can see up close down here, and then what they call distance, but in my case they're just plain. So what I look through when I'm looking right now is, you look straight and then you're seeing, kind of your distance. But then if you notice people kind of doing this or what have you, it's because that's when they're looking at their near distance. Their reader vision is down here. In the past I had worn a progressive lens, and so it kind of blends a little bit more smoothly, but actually this is a more ideal situation now for my particular vision issues. And I get the feeling now that I've talked to other people about this and I've researched and I've learned a lot, I see that it is a common choice for people after they've had cataract surgery, so that instead of doing the off and on with the glasses all day, or sometimes I wear the Plano glasses and they just, it's to maximize my my distance, so to speak. But then if I'm out and that's all that I have, I can't read a menu at a restaurant. I can't really read my phone. I have to have some sort of reading glasses or a magnifier glass to be able to see those things. So, bifocals have definitely been helpful in, instead of having the constant off and on and changing from, one pair of glasses to the other. And so I've really found that those have been beneficial for me. So I was really excited that, I'd kind of learned about the idea of bifocals. I tried out some inexpensive bifocals from Amazon, and they were just kind of like an over-the-counter kind of a thing. And then I thought, okay, I think I'm getting this down, what is going to work for me as my best option. And I really did start wearing them pretty consistently throughout my day, especially when I was at work or, at meals, because I honestly need that near vision to make sense out of my food, to be able to see that near distance, to be able to really kind of see it well. So that's what I started using as kind of my regular everyday glasses. Let's see, this is what it looks like if somebody's trying to make sense out of their notes. I have notes down here. So what did I write? Okay, sorry about that. This is what I go through on a regular basis. So I apologize that I do need to pause. I write very large notes in very dark print, but it's still hard for me to be able to go and read my notes, which I will add is a big part of the ongoing learning to have peace with all of this, which I'll share in a few minutes. So as I was getting used to the bifocals, thank you for your patience with me. As I was getting used to the bifocals, I really started noticing that the glare was very difficult for me. And it was just like, it was difficult for me to just literally, I could just feel assaulted by the light and the sun. And it was like, then I was walking around like this and I couldn't really see. And when I do my weekly hypnosis videos, I would notice as well, all of this glare on my glasses. I'm actually really excited. I think I've got the least amount of glare that I've had in a long time. I can almost kind of see my eyes in here. So that is really neat. And that is because I'd really started thinking about the glare issues, and also really starting to think pretty seriously about the fact that it's going to be getting dark earlier soon, and I was really having some concerns about night driving. And so that became my next stage of research, was night driving glasses, and or night driving lenses. And actually then on top of it, really being aware of better quality lenses than the inexpensive ones that I'd been getting on Amazon. And so I had been researching on different, YouTube eye doctors, and I had one in particular that had done a review of some night vision glasses that are clear. Now I had learned about some that are orange, and and that did not work for me. I did try. I came home from dinner with some friends, and the orange glasses literally just made everything darker again. And it was like, I'm nervous enough about how well I see, and being safe, of course. And so I knew that I really, needed to not be blocking out any light, or at least, not having an orange tint to them. And so this particular doctor had been reviewing a pair of night vision glasses that are clear. And so actually you could wear these glasses even during the day if you want. The brand is called Zenni, and it's an online glasses company. And so I went on their website and I started kind of looking around and seeing, okay, well, how much would this cost? And I felt comfortable with the options that I had. Ultimately, I bought the night vision glasses that I bought were maybe like 30 or $40. And so I thought that was pretty decent. Of course, because I was ready to say, okay, I'm ready to kind of say, I've gotten my vision needs really figured out. And as much as I would love to only have one pair of glasses that I put on in the morning and wear all day and take off at night and go to bed, that is not how my life is going to be. And so I had really come into understanding a lot more about what my particular needs are throughout the day and for different types of tasks. And so while I was on the Zenni website, I looked at some additional options. So first is that the glasses that I'm wearing right now, I've kind of referred to them a few times, are my new and much nicer and professionally made bifocal glasses. So I had fun. I got to kind of, look around at the different frames, and these are kind of pink. They're kind of like a pink and black, almost like a tortoise shell pink and kind of like a brownish black, and they're called Flamingo, and I thought that was fun and cute. And so I picked these for my bifocal glasses, and by doing them professionally made, I was able to add um, the the transitions so that they darken during the day, or when you're outside in the sun. And I really knew that that was something that was important to me, that I'm protecting my eyes as much as possible in the sun. And I've really been so sensitive to the glare anyway. And so I was really glad that, I've got nice lenses, professionally made, and with my prescription, with the particular reading, and then clear up here and all of that. And so that's my first pair of glasses that I got. I don't have the others here to show you, but the next ones that I got, remember I've talked in the past about that I actually don't need to wear glasses for distance. Distance doesn't do anything for me. And so so my kind of my other pair of glasses, that's kind of my everyday, I do need glasses because of that macular pucker, and wearing the tape here to mask the macular pucker and help me see a little bit better. And also the sunglasses and eye protection for dry eye, which we'll be talking about at some point. But yes, so glasses very important to me to always have on my face. And so I did get another pair of glasses that's called Plano. So it's just plain. No, I don't really know what Plano officially means, but it means to me plain, no prescription. And so those ones have then the full frame, the full lens is just clear. But then, like I said, a higher quality lens, which is, I can definitely tell, and then they will darken during the day. So I'm excited about that. I've been using them just to watch TV because then it gives me a better full lens. And well, as I'm recording this, it'll be Halloween in a couple of days. I'll probably wear them then so that I can see better without the distraction of the the near vision down here. I'll be going to some plays soon, and so that's really where it's a big benefit to me to be able to have that full frame and full ability to see as much as possible, and be able to have the tinting available because I'll be going to a football game too, college football. And so then I'll be able to also have the sunglasses, which I'm really excited about, just kind of, all my different possibilities. And those actually on Zenni, well, my bifocals were probably like $85. So the lenses, I mean, that was a big push, but I mean, I've bought a lot of cheap glasses. And so to finally say, okay, I said yes to these, and these are going to be my primary glasses. So in the end, they were about $85 through Zenni and getting that professional. The Plano ones, I was able to get them a lot less expensive because really it was just clear, and then the darkening, the tinting, and with the pretty inexpensive frames, they were, I think, only like $20. Now the night glasses, the night driving glasses, were really why I had gone to this company, Zenni, and it's spelled Zenni. I have my little case sitting here. I don't know if you can read that, Zenni. And really the reason I'd gone to this website, I've gone to places like, a lot of people have done like Warby Parker to get glasses ordered at home. I've used I buy direct before as well. I particularly use this company, Zenni, specifically because of those night driving lenses. And so they do specifically have night driving lenses. I don't get anything from, talking about this. They don't know me. I don't know them. I'm just sharing, from a lot of research. And so they have these night driving lenses, very specific. And for those, I got an inexpensive frame. The frame was like, $10, and then the lenses were probably about $30. And I have been using them to drive, but I haven't driven at night yet. So that'll be that big thing that I'm getting ready for. But I've just kind of gotten used to the fact that, when I get in the car, that I change glasses into my driving glasses, and then they have that full Plano, full lens that is just clear. And then the glare protection as well, or the extra things for glare. So that's what I've been up to. I've done a lot of research. It's really kept me busy, and then really having to adjust to all of these. I've only had these 3 pairs of glasses. Oh, and then I use my readers quite a bit as well. So if I'm really going to be sitting and looking at my phone, or even the computer, my iPad, or something like that, I would say a book, but well, I'll talk about that in a couple minutes. But if I'm going to be, specifically reading those, I have like blue light protection readers. And I got some cute ones that I like from a company called Peepers. And I'd been doing so much research, and I thought they were a cute shape, and they had a fun color for me. And so that's why I bought those. And they were maybe like $20 or something like that. So I'm down to 4 pairs of glasses. Yay. Actually, I kept one of my other pairs of glasses for my workout. So technically they sit in my workout bag. And when I'm exercising, at least then I know that I'm using those, because I don't feel comfortable using the bifocals. I don't see my feet quite as well as I would like. I would like to just kind of have a plain set of glasses for my exercise. So that's my status so far, and I'm finally feeling like, okay, this is working. One big adjustment that I had that is going to be very rare for most people, but since I've been talking about my magic tape and the macular pucker, if you're following me to learn about macular pucker issues, I will add that when I first got these glasses last week, I didn't position the tape on my lenses as well as I should have. And so I spent the first few days actually kind of going like, oh man, what's wrong? Why aren't these working for me? And I'd go back and forth between the glasses that I'd been using the month before, and really, kind of struggling for a few days. And then, oh, it was just yesterday. Yesterday, I kind of sat down. I have a variety of frames. I enjoy looking at different frames, and so like these are kind of more round. My others, I have some others that are more rectangle. And so I looked at my rectangle glasses that I'd been wearing for the last month up against my new rectangle glasses, and I realized that the tape position was substantially off from what I had been using for the last month. And so I thought, okay, I'm going to really sit down. I'm going to be precise. I'm going to, really be aware of that. Now I can tell how important that position is on where the tape goes on my lenses. And I readjusted it. And today has been a lot better. So I think that's kind of one of those learning curves that I had to deal with. So that's so kind of ready to move on with life where it comes to the bifocals and the daytime glasses. What's next for me? Next week, I'm gonna start driving at night, and fingers crossed. I really hope that my driving. I have driven a few times even on the freeway lately, and that has gone well. So I'm feeling a lot more confident, a lot more comfortable in that ability. The nighttime driving has definitely been a scary adjustment for me. And the big reason, well, I mean, there's a variety of things. I mean, obviously there's a lot around like what happens with glare, and so I've learned a lot about, okay, my windshield needs to be really clean. There's a lot of things that I've learned about how much goes into like the brightness of headlights, and so it's more actually the glare that has been the scary thing for me. People who've been through cataracts, now I know. I mean, I know the hardest thing in driving at night with cataracts, because everything is dark and all you see are pinpoints of light. And so, last year I had taken an Uber to and from work all the way through the dark part of the year. Where this year, I think one way or the other, I should be okay. My big challenge is that the tape that goes here that helps me so that I don't see double, when the light comes through it, it is refracted in a particular way that when light goes through that tape, it is very reminiscent of when I had cataracts. It just the way that the light specifically comes through the tape, it kind of renders the tape benefits not so great. I mean, at least I don't see double, so there's that, but at the same time, it is very distracting. So I have a few ideas of how I'm going to manage that. Some of it really is probably going to come down to, driving with one eye, blinking, or I might have to patch my eye. for people who are worried or concerned, I drive very little. It's 2 miles to my office in little back roads. Probably I would be better off being on the major street. So I will consider that. But it's really less traffic for me to go on those little back roads, so so I'm kind of thinking about those things, and I hope that the next time I come, that I'll have, a better, more to share about that. Of course, there's also some other things around that kind of darker part of the year, just because then, using candles or Christmas lights and all of those things that I'm still trying to figure out, well, how does that work? So I go and see the doctor who advised me to use the tape. I go to see him the week before Thanksgiving. So hopefully maybe he'll have some tips for me about how I can manage that as well. So again, fingers crossed on that. Okay, what else is coming for me? Okay, so I have been learning a lot about dry eye. In fact, I'm realizing that I need to be blinking better while I'm talking to the screen, even, because I can already tell the difference today. So I've been studying. I'm studying because I've been suffering, unfortunately, from dry eye and the discomfort around that. And so I've been learning a lot about dry eye and some about blue light and things like that. And so at some point in the near future, I'll do another video specifically about dry eye. But I definitely encourage you, if you've been going through eye challenges, look into dry eye. It really, there's so many things that affect our eyes, and dry eye, it's painful. I mean, it really is, and I've been making a lot of adjustments in my life to manage that difficulty. So I'm not quite ready to share, partly because I'm not quite there. I go through challenges on a regular basis with that, and so I want to kind of be able to say, oh, I figured it out and I feel so much better. So I'm getting there. I'll be ready to share reasonably soon. Now, I mentioned about reading, and that is one of the next things that is kind of out there for me. I'd be as I complete this journey about learning about eyes and learning about the struggles that I've been going through, I would love to believe, have more spare time to be reading again. I've read one book 1.5 times in the last year and a half. Okay, I might have read one other book, a travel book that I read literally like this right in front of my face. So it is actually really hard for me to hold books close enough to my face. And then there's the pucker and all of those things. And even my iPad, I realize, is too heavy. So I'm looking into some things, and looking into possibly getting a Kindle, especially if I feel like the right size, that then I feel like I can, adjust the font on it and the darkness and all of that, and the weight as well. So because I enjoy learning, I enjoy reading, I enjoy, well, escaping in a book and all of that. So so I'm looking into that as well, as kind of like a way that I get my life back in a fun and interesting way. So let's see. I'll be seeing all of my doctors in the next month or so. So I'll be seeing the doctor is working on the double vision and the tape. I've got the doctor who I see about the macular pucker, and theoretically, I imagine that he's going to say, well, here's our choices. If this tape is working for you and you're finding this to be a livable situation, then I might just be continuing along with using the tape. There could be a time that he could determine that I need to do another surgery to deal with the macular pucker. We'll see. We'll see. So I'm not hugely excited about that, because it could be another vitrectomy and another face down recovery and all of those things. So if I can make this magic tape thing work, you know, that would be great too. So we'll see. So as I think about the additional part of what is next for me, I have called this series Acceptance. And like I've said, when we get to this idea of, when we're in pain, you can be in pain, but you don't necessarily have to suffer. And that's kind of how I think about this, is what I understand with the work that I do with my clients in the hypnosis office is that we don't have to suffer. And I understand. I have ridden the wave of up and down of like, this is so frustrating. I feel so hopeless. And then thankfully, it's not really my personality to stay there for too long. So pretty quickly I bounce back up. And this video series and some of the really nice comments that I've gotten about it have helped me enormously. This has given me something to think about, a way to put a positive spin on it, to share. And so I'm very thankful for that. So I thought about, what is my intention when I think about this coming stage, these next couple of months, as I'm recording this at the end of October. So through kind of this, as we prepare for the Thanksgiving season and then the Christmas season and then a new year. And so one of the things that I really want to put out there is to, when I see my new doctors, to have them see the real me, the me that is not anxious, not having the panic attacks that I used to have at their offices, the person who is less frustrated. And especially because every single time, every doctor and even some of the techs have said, wow, you're doing amazing. They've said, miracle. Some have said, we never thought that you would do nearly as well as you have. And I kind of, roll my eyes and go like, oh, well, but, and so I'm really working to get to that place of gratitude, of really seeing for myself how well I'm doing. And and every day has its ups and downs. I go to the grocery store and it's can be a challenge to see the things that I need to see or to do what I need to do. I look at my to-do list and I get like kind of flooded and frustrated because it's just like too much to look at or whatever. And so I am, really working on that gratitude, that acceptance, and especially by being less frustrated. So as I'm kind of thinking about coming to a close on today, when I think about that gratitude and acceptance, I've been playing with that a little bit more lately and realizing that sometimes my vision is blurry and I don't see as well as I think I should. And so or maybe I need to, or sometimes it's frustrating because like, oh, I look at my phone and I'm kind of like, oh, I really can't see that. I need to change my glasses. Or in a lot of my life where I just have to like stop and take a break, deal with the, whatever, the either the, the change in the vision or the dry eye things and just really kind of saying like, okay, those are my times to take a breath, refocus, and kind of getting back to that, like, it's okay. I think that's probably how I ended my last video, just kind of saying like, it's okay. It's going to be okay. So really when I think about those things, when I said, what's next for me, and really how I think about it is instead of fighting, fighting the changes, fighting that this is happening and that is happening, really getting to that place of acceptance and gratitude. And technically, and I know this from my professional world, and I experience it too in this, that acceptance, instead of fighting it, or especially instead of being angry about it, that actually eases the stress. And that is very important because We carry a lot of stress and tension. I mean, obviously, there's a lot of places that we know traditionally. Apparently, we carry a lot of stress in our eyes, and our eyes are part of our brain network. It's part of how we process information. We process visual stimuli. So if we're stressed, then we're not processing, incredibly important information. I mean, I have clients that my clients come to me and they say, they come to me with all kinds of their, the worst fears. Then they look at me and they go, well, really my worst fear is losing my vision, because they realize like how much I've gone through, and it's true that, when we think about, losing one of our senses, back during COVID, I was like, oh, do not take my sense of smell away from me, and because sense of smell means your sense of taste, and that, like, so much around the enjoyment of life and all those things. Losing your vision, very similar as well. I mean, so many amazing and wonderful, beautiful things to see in the world. And so I'm really trying to, work towards accepting less stress, less frustration, and more, embracing how what I do have, being able to take that breath, have more clarity, and have more focus. So I thank you for joining me for this version of my year recovering from retinal detachment, and I hope that this is helping you, or helping you understand what maybe somebody that is going through. And I will be back at some point to share either the next part of my journey of the vision. And at some point I'll be sharing some things that I've learned about blue light and dry eye. And but in the meantime, I wish you a wonderful day through the season of Thanksgiving, time to remember gratitude. And I guess that's what I have to share for you today. Have a wonderful day.